Alex had always been a careful person. He never forgot where he put things, especially important items like his keys. But on that rainy Tuesday morning, as he prepared to leave for work, he realized something was terribly wrong. His keys were nowhere to be found. He checked his pockets. Empty. His jacket, his pants, the kitchen counter, nothing. His heart began to race as he remembered how late he already was for a meeting. He couldn't afford to miss the bus, but without his keys, he couldn't leave the house. Panic set in as Alex rushed from room to room, searching desperately. The living room. The bathroom. Even under the couch cushions, nothing. He tried to stay calm, but his frustration grew. What if he had lost them outside? He thought back to his walk home the previous evening, hoping that he hadn't dropped them somewhere in the rain. After 10 more minutes of searching, Alex decided he had no choice but to call his boss and explain the situation. He sat down on the couch, staring at his phone for a long moment before dialing the number. "Hello, Alex." His boss's voice was warm but concerned. "Is everything okay? You're usually on time." I'm sorry, but I can't find my keys. I've looked everywhere, and I'm going to be late for work." His words tumbled out in a rush. There was a brief silence on the other end, and then his boss said, "I understand. Take your time. We'll manage without you for a little while. But maybe you should think about where you last saw them." Alex thanked him and hung up the phone, feeling both relieved and guilty. He had some time now, but the clock was still ticking. He needed a plan. He decided to retrace his steps from the day before. He grabbed his umbrella and headed outside into the wet streets, scanning the ground as he walked. It wasn't easy to stay focused with the rain pouring down, but he was determined. As he approached the local park, he paused. A flash of silver caught his eye near a bench by the path. His heart skipped a beat. There, partially buried under some wet leaves, were his keys. A sigh of relief escaped his lips as he knelt down to pick them up. The keys were cold and wet, but they were his. He couldn't believe he had been so worried about losing them. He smiled to himself, holding them up to the sky like a small victory. As Alex made his way back home, the rain began to stop, and the clouds started to part, letting through a few rays of sunlight. He felt lighter, knowing he would make it to work in time. But more than that, the whole experience had reminded him of something important. Sometimes, things go wrong, but that doesn't mean you can't find your way again. Alex walked back home, the keys securely in his hand, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The rain had mostly stopped, and the cool air felt refreshing after the stressful search. As he reached his front door, he stopped for a moment, taking a deep breath. It had been a chaotic start to his day, but now that it was over, he could relax a little. He opened the door, went inside, and locked it behind him, finally feeling a sense of peace. After he changed into his work clothes, Alex sat down for a quick breakfast. His mind was still buzzing from the morning's events, but as he sipped his coffee, he couldn't help but smile at how everything had worked out. It was strange how something as simple as losing a set of keys could make you appreciate the little things, like the warmth of your home, the feeling of a fresh cup of coffee, or even the quiet moments when everything slows down. As he left the house to catch the bus, Alex reflected on how sometimes life throws little challenges at you just to remind you of what really matters. It wasn't about the keys, or being late for work, or the rain. It was about the journey of figuring things out and learning to stay calm when things didn't go according to plan. That morning had been a lesson in patience and resilience, and Alex was grateful for it. With a renewed sense of confidence, he made his way to the bus stop, ready for whatever the day would bring.